Pow wow, yo yippee yay. Hello everyone, this is Pow wow number 29. I'm going to be covering for Cyrus because he has a little bit of a setback, but don't worry, he will be back next week. In the meantime, we're going to be talking about everything that SwissBorg wants you to know today. First off, we're going to deep dive into the market update. We want to understand the crypto market, why it's been going up in this last week, and what we can expect or what we should look out for in these next few months. Secondly, we're going to also have a look at Sanctum's new cloud token. What is Sanctum? Why are we listing it? What can you expect from it and how it works? And thirdly, we're going to be teasing and just talking a little bit about the CoinBureau and SwissBorg partnership that you may have seen pop up on social media, but we're not going to be talking too much about it, just the bare minimum to keep you interested and excited. Before we go through all that, let's look at the question of the week. Charlie is asking us if the Borger rank has any significant impact on Borg holdings and on the Borg's price as a whole. And to answer this question, we're going to be looking at three different graphs. The first one is, what do we actually consider a Borger Journey participant? And this is actually every active SwissBorg user that also has the app at the latest update. For example, if you are an active user, which means you've done a swap in the last week, but you haven't updated your app, you'll be in the 13,805 people down there on the chart, and you don't want to be there. You do want to do the update of the app. However, if you have done the update and you have done a trade in the last week, you'll be in the 91,290 people up there. And this is what we consider being an active participant, because you can see the feature, and if you wanted to, you could interact with it. And this is enough for us to say, okay, this is the group that we want to be able to communicate with when we measure the impact of the Borger Journey program. Unfortunately, we can notice that the Borger Journey has a lot of room to grow. There's only about 11% of users that are interacting with the feature from the group that we saw before, the 92,000, and there's only about 3% of the daily app open users that check the profile section. This means that out of 100 people that are opening their app, there's only 3 that are going to be looking at their app, and even more worrisome is that there's only 1 that's going to be clicking on one of the buttons, which is either learn more or buy more Borg. Now, this is out of the 92,000 people that we saw before, so it's obvious that the numbers are never going to be extremely high, but it would be a lot better to have something around 5 and 3%, for example, or even something like 10 and 5% would be amazing. So far, however, we are aware that it is a program that's at its infancy. There is a lot of things that we want to do with it, and we were aware and were counting on the fact that we will be launching something that's very intuitive, very easy to understand, and building on it in the future. Now, to answer the question, unfortunately, we can see that there's no significant change on the Borg holding amount, the user activity, or the retention rate for the 92,000 people. But if we look a little bit more or a little bit closer to the active Borgers or the most active Borgers, then we can see that there is a better retention rate and there is a more active involvement with the program, even if we would want also to increase that amount, obviously. News of the week. The SEC drops an investigation of Bitcoin, L2 stacks, and Builder's Hero. Filing says basically Blockstack has raised 70 million between 2017 and 2019, and for the last 3 years the SEC has been investigating them and trying to block them, but has finally dropped that investigation, which is good news for them and for the credibility of their project. Ethereum tops 3.3k as analysts tip ETF approval this week. What we can see here is that there is a lot of rumors and a lot of excitement in the market for the ETF approval of Ethereum. This would actually mean that there's a lot of money that would inflow into Ethereum and would trickle down into the rest of the altcoin market, which would be very, very good news and is likely to happen this week. So if that does happen, we might see a little bit of a correction of people that had predicted it, but in the long run, it's definitely extremely good news. Lastly, Trump survived and asset prices are responding. When Trump survives an attack or when something is good for his campaign, the economic side of things takes a positive turn because Trump's election is, or if he was to win, is correlated to a high increase in the risky asset classes because he generally has done good things in favor of crypto and of the American economy. But we're going to go even more details into why. Market update. There are a couple of things that we have to understand if we want to figure out what the market is going to be giving us. Something that is looking very good for the short run is that we are estimating that the printer is coming. Printing money means inflation, and inflation means that there's a lot of money that will be moving around in the market and moving into stocks and crypto. And this would be very good in the short run, even if in the longer run, it has to be seen to how it's managed. Trump also has survived, which is good news because he would be pushing for the exact same thing. He would be pushing for the printer to be activated and for the economy to be financed with a lot of money flowing around. This would be good for people with investments into stocks and crypto once again. However, something that's a little bit scary is that the Nasdaq is at a very, very high point. It's been on a parabolic increase for a long time now, and we are expecting a correction at some point. When that correction happens, what we want to try and understand is how Bitcoin is going to be reacting. So now Bitcoin has two options. Either it's going to be a volatile and risky asset along with Tesla and Nvidia, or it's going to be a safe asset along with gold and the S&P 500. Depending on what people see Bitcoin as, if they see it as something super risky or something that's relatively safe, it's going to react in a way that is either similar or different than the Nasdaq. And that would mean that if Trump gets elected and the rates are cut and the inflation goes high up, Nasdaq would also probably go high up and Bitcoin would follow. However, if the Nasdaq corrects because it's been going up for so long, then Bitcoin would likely correct along with it. And depending on how many people estimate that it's a storage of value or not, it would correlate the same or a little bit less. And what we want to see in the future is Bitcoin correlating less to the Nasdaq and more to gold because we want it to be the digital gold. But right now, we're not sure if it's going to be the case and there's only one way to find out. We'll have to wait and see. The last step of the market update is that we wanted to show a little bit the performance of our thematics compared to gold. Gold is a relatively steady crypto, or it's relatively steady for a crypto, and the thematics are a little bit less. So what we want always is to outperform Bitcoin with our different thematics. And we can see here that the best of blockchains, the meme thematic, the RWA, the banter bundle have been outperforming. The gaming thematic and the gold thematic are a little bit closer to break even, but they have nonetheless delivered on their promises of being better or the same as the market trend. So it's very interesting to see that you can invest in something that you believe in, like I believe in the best blockchains, and then just let it go, let it roll, be reallocated and readjusted on the roll by SwissBorg, and at the moment at least, provenly, rightfully so. This week has been super green for everyone who has crypto, except for a few tokens. We have seen our wallets green in the first time for, I think, about a month or a month and a half. So it's extremely refreshing to see so much green. Optimism is up 15%, WIF is up 25%, Aave is up 24%. It's just a very good week, and the winner of this week's top performance is Mantra. I think that this is because they have a partnership with BONK, they have an airdrop campaign, and BONK is able to get a lot of traction when they want to. But if you want to understand what Mantra is and what the program is about, you can also look at last week's episode because it was already the winner then, and Sarah did a full explanation on the Mantra token. We are going to be listing the governance token of Sanctum, which is called the Cloud token. This token isn't out yet. It's going to be released, I believe, on Thursday. And as soon as it is, we're going to be working very hard to get it available on your app as soon as possible. What is Sanctum? Sanctum is a liquid staking protocol on Solana that has done so many things very, very correctly. Firstly, they have managed to do a very intuitive platform that is fully gamified. What happens is that when you trade an LST, you're going to choose a token that you trade from, a token that you trade to, and then you choose the amount, you press buy, and that's it. As soon as you have done that, you'll be getting a pet, and this pet will be leveling up depending on how many tokens you lock and how long you lock them for. And this is essentially the whole concept of the interface. Then on these tokens, you get a APY, you get a percentage of return every year on your investment, on the tokens that are locked. And this is how they've been able to, with the gamification, with the leaderboard, with the referrals, gain extreme popularity in the last few months and become one of the top staking platforms on Solana. Now, their governance token is going to be released very soon, but if you want to be able to invest in them without leaving the SwissBorg app, there is also a earn strategy that's on Solana that uses Sanctum. So if you go on the risk report, you can read up and decide if you want to participate in it or not and get returns on locking your Solana directly from the SwissBorg app. So I'm super excited to see this and how it's going to be evolving. in the next few months. And also the price action of this token is going to be very, very interesting, because I think it's going to move a lot and might go up or down from the listing, depending on how the airdrop is conducted and how they're going to be pleasing the people that have interacted with the protocol in the past or not. Depending on that, it could go anywhere. Borger Journey update. In the efforts of bringing up the percentages that we have seen earlier in this power, we are releasing a share your progress function, which means that when you go from one camp to a higher one, you'll have a little widget that will appear that will enable you to click on it and share directly on WhatsApp, on Twitter, that you have reached your next camp in the Borger Journey. This is just flexing rights. You'll be able to flex on everyone that you are ranking up in that Borger Journey, and hopefully also it's going to make you eligible to more alpha opportunities, airdrops, and a lot of other tasty treats that we have in store for the Borger Journey camps. CoinBureau and SwissBorg Alpha partnership. If you follow the social medias of Alex Fazel and Nick and or Digital Asset News, you'll see that something is cooking between SwissBorg and CoinBureau, and we're extremely excited to be able to show it and talk about it in the next few months. We're not going to be talking about it too much here, so make sure you stay tuned to our socials if you want all of the alpha. If you don't, you can also look at the Pow Wow next week, and Cyrus might talk a little bit more about it then as well. SHIB has won last week's quarterfinals against Dogecoin, so my fight with Cyrus, I have been successful, and I'm going to be taking on Danny this time to fight WIF and BONK. So we're going to be talking about these two tokens, and then you are going to be voting on Twitter, on X, for which has won. And this is going to be a very, very interesting fight.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the second edition of the meme coin thematic battle royale. Last week, Cyrus and I have debated over which from Doge to SHIB was the best meme token, and this week we're actually keeping the fight within the dogs. I'm going to be debating with Danny over which between WIF and BONK is the best meme token. I will be WIF because I have a hat.
And I will be BONK because I have a band that I unfortunately can show you right now.
In a few minutes or in a few sentences, WIF is basically everything's in the name. It is a dog with a hat. There's literally nothing more right now. It's the dog that you see behind me here, and it has the hat that you can see on the head of the dog. And this is what the community of WIF is really gathering around. They really have that movement where they enjoy having the dog, having the hat, and you can put different hats on the dog, put the hat on different other animals, and it's really just a fun, vibing community. But they have also been able to gather a market cap of $3.5 billion. And even as a community, they have been able to raise $691,000 in order to put the dog with hat on the Las Vegas Sphere. So you can see that it's actually a little bit more than just a dog with a hat. It's a huge community of loving people that are trying to have fun and that are having the time of their lives investing in crypto together. Now, can BONK say the same?
To respond to that question, it's better to go back a bit in time when in Christmas time 2022. So the public opinion about crypto was pretty low at that time because we had the crash with FTX and all this bad news actually about the crypto sphere. So that's the mood was pretty bad, and nobody Solana, I think it was at all-time low. So you need really like something that can cheer you up in this, and Christmas time, this time of sharing and caring, that's when BONK arrived, like Robin Hood's coming, not to steal from the rich, but just to cheer everybody up. And they launched and actually just airdrop half of the token supply to the Solana ecosystem. So big project in the Solana ecosystem, they just got half the supply of BONK, and they created even with 15% more of the supply, they created an DAO where community can decide actually what to do with the token, because it's like a Bitcoin. We don't know really who is the creator of BONK and don't have any power in it. So the community is really the driving force of the BONK token.
Fair enough. But there's one very, very important thing that BONK does not have, and that's a hat. Also, in terms of trading, it's pretty impressive and important to have a lot of liquidity, which WIF definitely has. And they're listed on most major exchanges, which makes it very easy to access. It has a lot of media coverage and also just the hats.
Indeed. Well, I agree. To be able to gather that much market that you need to be visible everywhere. And BONK is actually visible everywhere. It's listed on at least 9 major exchanges. It has like 11 different chain, because no matter the chains you prefer to interact with BONK, you can build in most of it. So can you boast having like 11 different chain where you can trade your token with WIF?
No,
And can you at least we have a weapon or something? So it's a bit of more the offense. If we hit you with a bat, what do you do?
I put a hat on and then I am protected because this hat is actually top-notch quality. So you cannot hurt me with a bat. Also, good luck hitting me with a bat digitally, but I can put a digital hat in it. Well, anyway, the thing that's also very interesting with Dog with Hat is the fact that they're still going to be building some dApps, and they're going to be payments method, and they also have yield farming. So it's not just a dog with a hat. Even if that's how it was born, they are actually building and migrating it to a lot more than that, and they want to, or they aspire to be a utility token, which means that they're going to be used in the long run as well, which is something that's very promising. And as they've managed to gather as much momentum as they have right now with just a hat, imagine what they can do with a hat that has utilities.
Yeah, but what they plan to gather the community? Because here we have a DAO, we have everyone who can decide, who has a little bit of BONK, but we also have like some big communities around us. We know that the Solana phones community already got a big chunk of the BONK token, or the BONK community just reached out to the Mantra ecosystem to have like a collaboration together, but I don't see that much that WIF is partnering with any other token or communities.
It's because WIF isn't trying to be boring and have some votes and take weeks to decide about things. What they do is they survey their community in a bit of an informal way, and then they build along with them. And this is really the way that they think that it's the best way to go. They don't need the DAO to be with the community and to be alive with the community, because everyone in there built together and they all share the same love for the hat. With that said,
well, I agree, but right now the WIF token is only a seasonal token, because if you put the hat in summer, you will just fry it.
No, but then you can also have dog with cap.
Yeah, but you have to rename the token.
Yeah, arguable. A cap's also a hat. Anyway, that is it for the WIF versus BONK battle. I hope that it was very culturally and educational for you. And see you next time for the next meme token battle. Thank you, everyone.
See ya.
Thank you, Danny, for the fight. We can see that on the social media, you guys are loving these battles. They're extremely funny to film, so forgive us for the lack of professionalism at times, but they are highly enjoyable and highly enjoyed. So I'm super happy to see that we have had at least, around 40,000 impressions on our votes and on our posts, which has the video that you saw before. So looking forward to see who's going to be winning this fight and if it's going to get as much traction as the last one or more. Shout out to Bolan, our community member of the week. I can remember him from very, very long time ago on the French speaking side of our community. He's been extremely helpful with including new people in the conversations, making sure they understand everything, but also been posting informative content on SwissBorg. He's been participating in a lot of our campaigns. So altogether, Bolan, amazing guy. Thank you so much for all the help. And if you want to leave him a little bit of a like on one of his last posts, feel free to scan that QR code and just leave him a little heart. He's deserved it. I'm going to do it myself. I'm super happy. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, the weekly BONK data isn't super exciting. We only have 127 new premiums in the last 7 days. BORG stake doesn't move too much. The weekly price change is a little bit underwhelming. The Guardian spot, I think we have to change that data because if I'm not mistaken, it's not super accurate. And holders in the app are going up, but not that much once again. The total volume isn't very high. The weekly active users are over 100,000, which is going to be, let's call it our minimum threshold. User assets 1.3 billion, which is nice. Exchanges 40K, but all in all, it's not going super well. It's calming down a little bit because it's summer. because we're all going on vacation and enjoying some mojitos on the beach, and this is a very good thing. We have to relax to come back stronger. I don't like the number of KYC verifications in the last 7 days, but it is what it is, so we're gonna live with it. Now let's look at the community index. What do you think it's going to be? 1, 2, 3, 4? It's not going to be very high, but hopefully next week it's going to be better. 4.3. Indeed, everything is down except for social media, and we can almost attribute the 4 points, or at least the points that are bringing us up in that community index, to the battle of the dogs and the meme battle, Doge versus SHIB. So we're very, very happy to see that it's actually bringing up traction and bringing up the community index, and we hope that it's going to be also just as helpful next week. This was Pow Wow number 29. Cyrus will be back next week. In the meantime, I hope that it was clear, understandable. I hope that you aren't afraid about the long run for cryptocurrencies. Even if the presidential elections play with price a little bit in the short run, there's nothing to worry about if you have your eyes on the prize in the longer run. We've talked about a wonderful green week, and we hope to see many more in the upcoming months. Even if it's a little bit slower because of summer. We've talked about some improvements that we're going to be doing on the Borger Journey, and much more to come. We've talked about the partnership with CoinBureau, and I'm hoping that we will be able to talk more about it next week, if not in 2 weeks with Cyrus. But regardless, I'm going to be wishing you an amazing week, and I'll see you soon. Cheers. Thank you for watching our weekly Pow Wow episode. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to leave a like, and if you didn't, tune in next week anyway, so that you can figure out if it's better then. Bye!